This is lefties.
This is
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Ryan, just to explain, every team has a ping pong ball, and it's going to correlate to a quarterback. Okay, we don't know what's coming, and then we'll ask Steve. We'll ask something, depending. Okay. So
who's picking? Don't let her pick.
no,
Come on, man. I got you a good one, lefty.
Okay.
Come on, baby.
Who is it? Who is it?
Oh, look, you're going to like this one. The Broncos.
Broncos.
The Denver Broncos, Steve Young. Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
Will we see a change? What is the long-term plan at quarterback for the Denver Broncos?
I think the prayer is that there's not a change and there's enough defense and they get stabilized. But Trevor, look, you look at the field from the 20 going in, right, from the far end, and you say to yourself, okay, how do I attack to get to the end zone? And Trevor's great at the first 15. But then the other 15 behind that, where really all the action is, he doesn't do a great job of getting there. And a lot of it's physical, his inability to kind of just drill the ball down there and do it. But then it's also just how he prepares and how he attacks. He's very, we talk about safe, consistency, and I think Trevor wants to be that guy. And I think he can do a good job of that. But in the NFL, if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to be one of the marquee teams, you're going to be, where John Elway was, you've got to be able to create. And I think that's the big issue that he faces. And at times it comes, but it doesn't stay consistent. I think that's the biggest problem he faces.
Going back to our analogy, he is definitely a quarterback shoe without the laces. And those laces for Trevor Siemian, for his success, are the defense and the running game. He must have them.
So he needs a little polish.
He does have
some polish on them shoes.
But, Denver has the playbook to do this without an elite quarterback.
They need high top.
They need some high top.
All right, 1 for 1, Steve. Here we go.
Steve knows that was because all he wore were Chuck Taylors in high school. So
yeah.
Date yourself.
Boy, the black.
The Washington Redskins.
The Washington Redskins. Didn't we have Kirk Cousins last week? Yeah. I think we did. All right, so you know what? Let's not talk about Washington. Where does Kirk Cousins play next, Steve Young? How do we do it that way?
Why is it that you have got so much hubris in your system that you can't look at a guy and look at the whole kind of history of the Redskins and at quarterback, and its disastrous history in the last 20 years, and also recognize that who's coming and what's possible? And you got a guy that I watched Monday night. He needs some help. He needs consistency. He needs some guys around him. There's a ceiling with Kirk, but there's also an ability for him, in my mind, to be out there and do the things that Russell Wilson and others. I mean, he can be a great quarterback. He's already a good quarterback, and I saw him fight back last week against a lot of odds, create some space. NFL quarterbacks, you can feel the moment where it's like it gets really heavy, and some guys just kind of work against it and actually can create some stuff, and he can do that. And the idea that the Redskins are going to play games and get this hubris that they're not going to sign a guy that is a long-term player. He's going to be around for a while. He's going to be a starter. You don't let guys go like that. And it's like, everyone's like, where's he going to play next year? Well, who's going to play for the Redskins? And we're going to go back to the same stuff we've been seeing for the last 20 years? That's criminal. You have a guy that wants to be there, a hard-working guy that you can count on the locker room. Okay, great. He's not the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, but a guy that can service you and win games and take you to the playoffs and maybe win a Super Bowl if you get enough help. What are you guys thinking? Well, we have too much hubris. We don't like him. Let's get on someone else. I don't understand.
Hey, let me ask you this question. Is he Alex Smith? They don't appreciate it?
100%. I mean, he's underappreciated. The idea that what he's done, he clawed out himself. No one expected this from him, and he's done a nice job. And so the idea that you don't respect that. I mean, nobody gave Kirk Cousins anything in Washington to say, oh, hey, look, we really believe in you. It's like, no, he had to carve it out himself. You got to respect that. And I don't understand why they don't, no matter what you decide to do, make him feel great about it. Why would you have him mispronounce his name? Why do you sit in the background and not tell him, hey, look, we don't know what we're going to do in the future, but we think you're great? What kind of foolishness is that?
Listen, we found the right one. That was the right one.
I'll tell you,
and somebody's going to pay Kirk Cousins. Somebody will make him feel very good in the form of a big
You don't commit to the quarterback position. Eventually, it trickles down to the locker room, too. They question the motives.
100%. Here we go. 100% affects the locker room.
Thank you, Steve. Here we go. Atlanta Falcons.
I don't have any passion. I have no passion for quarterback, as you can see.
What's going on with Matt Ryan?
Fix the Falcons.
Fix the Falcons. Fix Matt Ryan. Such a good guy.
Look, there's always a transition with play callers. We know Kyle and Shan, they had a great marriage. It was awesome. What they had going was that Kyle could be as aggressive as he wanted to be. He's like his dad. He's like, he could see, 4 or 5 plays in a row, and he could call him and say to Matt, look, you protect me. If this gets out wild, you deal with it. I think Steve needs to get to that same spot, Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator that replaced Kyle. He needs to put the risk into the system and have Matt deal with it. Because the risk gets the ball to Julio Jones. The risk puts the big plays. And then once you show in the NFL that we can throw some big plays at you, we can big chunk stuff, and you got to worry about these guys, all of a sudden the air blows into the system for the running game, the short passing game, play action, all that stuff happens. But then when you don't show the ability to really kind of attack, defense is just predatory. I mean, Teddy will tell you, he's a predator. He wants to creep, and then take all this air out of the system, and that's a big problem. To me, throw some risk into the system, put Matt at the helm, you deal with the risk factors and make it work. And let's see some big chunk plays and see some air back in this offense.
Yeah, you feel that uncertainty defensively. You can feel it out there when a quarterback's not sure and he's a little tentative, questioning the play. You can see
careful, right, Teddy?
Yeah,
careful, not sure.
Word, yes.
Yeah,
you sense
creep,
that.
Creep.
The creep, the creep predator.
And then during timeouts, you yell back to that huddle and says, hey, Matt, I bet you wish Shanahan was still here. Oof.
Yeah.
All
right. See, this is why we keep doing this, because you're too good at it. 100%, my friend.
You're done good, Lefty. You're doing good, Lefty.
But they're going to make us do it again either way, so we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. So I'm good no matter what, because it's happening. You're really good at this.
We continue. Panthers linebacker Luke Kuechly sat out of last week's game with a concussion, but things seem to be progressing well. He was a full participant in practice yesterday, and today, as Kuechly continues to move through the concussion protocol, he will still need final clearance by an independent neurologist. And with that, we say hello again to Adam Schefter in the Domino's pregame headquarters. And Adam, you've got some other injury news regarding several top wideouts. What's the latest?
Yeah, Wendy, Michael Thomas has got a knee injury right now. Sean Payton said it's not significant. They don't think it's anything serious, but that doesn't necessarily clear up his status for Sunday and whether he'll be able to play against the Chicago Bears. He was able to finish the game last week and nothing seemed out of the norm at that point in time. So again, it doesn't sound like it's anything particularly serious with Michael Thomas. In regards to Stephon Diggs, the Vikings wide receiver, he went through a full practice today in London in preparation for Sunday's game against the Cleveland Browns. The signs now point to Diggs being able to play against the Browns, which would be good news for the Vikings passing attack. It looks like Diggs is on the mend from that groin and ankle injury, and it looks like he is on track to be able to play Sunday against the Browns. As for Golden Tate, he's nursing a shoulder injury right now, and I know there were people who thought he could be out for weeks, but right now, he's also on track to play on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we'll see whether or not he can make it through the week of practice, how he feels, but I think he believes right now, hopes that he's going to be able to be out there on Sunday night, which would be a surprise to a lot of people right now.
And Adam, the latest on next week's scheduled talks between the players and the owners?
A little bit of an interesting development here today when the Russell Okung said he's very unhappy with the way the talks have gone between the two sides, and he doesn't know that he will go. Now, again, there continue to be signs that talks between the two sides are positive. Anquan Bolden wrote a piece that was just released in Time magazine saying he was thankful to the commissioner and appreciative of the time, that he thinks that he is encouraged by what has gone on between the two sides. But Russell Okung, very outspoken and really unhappy with the way the league has acted after the talks that occurred between the two sides a couple of weeks ago. He would like to see more done in regards to social justice right now.
Adam, thank you. We've heard it before. Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. So where will the defensive spotlight fall in Week 8? Our guys tell you next.
The Pregame HQ is brought to you by Domino's. Are you set for the game? Get ready for kickoff and order now at Domino's.com. The pregame starts here.
Domino's? 2 large pepper.
The Volks. Welcome back to NFL Live. Presented by Lowe's.
Do not miss our NFL Live mid-season Halloween award show. Ryan Clark, Louis Riddick, Trey Wingo hand out our awards. DJ Cookie will be back. It's going to be a party with many surprises, lots of tricks. No, wait, lots of treats. No,
that's
tricks.
a nice award show.
Yeah.
I've been involved in that a couple years, but not anymore. I'm with my man Teddy and Shefty.
That's right. Telvin Smith got paid. The team announced on Wednesday, gave him a 4-year extension worth $50 million. That's the 5th He has the 5th most tackles in the league since entering in 2014. He's been a key contributor to this stout defense. And it's stout defense is talking with the defensive spotlight week 8. How about a defensive back to watch, Coach?
Darius Slay. He's got to play against a pretty good receiver in Antonio Brown, and I think he's gonna want this matchup. You know, this is one of those guys you don't hear a lot about. Excellent corner, one of the better corners in the National Football League. He is going to like this contest playing against one of the best receivers, and some will say maybe the best receiver once he gets the ball in his hand and his ability to run in space. So this is going to be one I'm going to watch. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Teddy, how about a linebacker?
Wendy, I'm a commissioner of a fantasy football league.
Oh.
And defensively, I made an adjustment. For every tackle's a point. Every interception, 2 points.
Change your rule.
Every quarterback sack, 2 points. And if you want to score this week, pick up Ryan Shazier. Because when I watch this guy play, he's all over the place. He'll get you 10 tackles. He'll get you a 2-point sack. He'll get an interception. Speed, sometimes too much speed. All right?
Yeah, run past it once in a while.
The Steeler defense continues to get better. Shazier is racking up the tackles. Love watching him play. Turning into one of the better linebackers in the league. Ryan Shazier. Watch it.
Teddy, is your league, is it only defensive players? You just have an all defensive?
Just linebackers. Just linebackers.
Just linebackers. A linebacker only.
A linebacker league, that's good.
Yeah, Teddy's the commissioner.
He's the backer track.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I know, not the worst idea. See? Coach on a D lineman, please.
I'm going to go with a guy from the Minnesota Vikings, Emerson Griffin. He's playing against a rookie left tackle. Joe Thomas is out. And over in London, too. That's not good for a young rookie quarterback that's getting to start again, right? All of a sudden, the rookie's good. You got benched last week. Now he's going to play this week. Oh, this is not good with a rookie left tackle. That's not a whole lot of fun.
Spencer Drango's got his work cut out for him. And Teddy's rushing to pick up Emerson Griffin in his fantasy football league.
In his defense-only fantasy league.
I love it.
Where are we? A defensive storyline?
I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because this is a defense that has struggled as of late. Last week it struggled against Buffalo. This week against Carolina. And with Jameis Winston ailing, and with this team struggling, and this team being disappointing, it's time for the defense to step up. It's allowing 408.5 yards per game in the NFL this season. That's the 3rd most in the NFL. That is not going to work in the NFC South. That is a disappointment, and it is time for Tampa's defense to turn it around if it wants to save the Buccaneers season.
All right, how about this story? Never say never, Teddy Bruschi. You know why? Here's why. Former Bucs defensive end Simeon Rice hasn't taken a snap since 2007. He's 43.
Come on, Sim.
He believes he could still play, but believing is one thing. The thing is here, he wants to play. Rice says he is completely serious about a comeback if the Bucs will have him. But it has been, what, 10 years? That's quite a layoff. I mean, Teddy, can you about you? Herb?
Well,
I
I would advise him to do this. Actually go visit the Bucs and say, can I be a part-time coach here? Help with the pass
coach.
rush.
I don't think that's the type of comeback he's...
Well, no,
I know. That's maybe the more advisable.
That's probably the best thing.
Yeah. Well,
How many snaps do you think you can play? I mean,
I don't...
I'm sure.
Listen, I guess he feels good.
I've got to assume Sims.
He's been working out. He's in great shape.
I know he'll be great in the locker room. He'll be joking around, having fun. I know that. That's who he is. But 43 years old, how many snaps? Come on. I don't think so.
I don't know about you, Teddy.
No.
When you play this great game called football, there's something that you learn about the game. You learn how to fall. And your body's used to falling on hitting the ground because you hit the ground your whole life from high school to college to professional football. When you get away from it, your body becomes kind of soft. For him to just play in a game and fall on the ground, he doesn't know how that's going to hurt him.
I remember
10 years away from
and I remember how Mondays were as a 33-year-old, or I play it till 35. I mean 25, 30. Those Mondays, I couldn't imagine them as a 43-year-old, as a 44-year-old. You're not moving the next day.
How old were you when you took your last snap? You were...
I was 35.
35.
35.
Yeah, so
yes.
That's... Coach,
that might have been too old, Coach.
I got one.
You got one.
But all I got is one.
Just one.
I got one hit.
All right.
One hit. I've been saving.
I was just going to say, I can't wait to see when you bring it out. All right.
I got one hit. left. One.
I'd love to see it. I'll say that. I'd love to see
Yeah,
it.
why not?
I'm saying it.
All of us
I'm going to say it.
43 range would love to see it. It would speak well.
Go ahead, Sim.
But, why
We
not?
love you, Sim.
Great leadership.
Super Bowl champion. We love you.
All right. Meanwhile, we got to pick this game. Week 8, which of course marks the halfway point of the regular season, gets underway tonight. It's the Dolphins and the Ravens. Offensive juggernauts they are not.
Nope.
But we will pick a winner right after this. Steve Young is back with us.
My back hurts from sitting in this chair.
Talks college football top 25. Who could emerge atop the first poll of the season? That first poll, by the way, out on Tuesday. SVP on the Greek Freaks, great start, and MVP talk. Plus, Bill Barnwell talks talks about how the Seahawks will try to stop Deshaun Watson and the Texans. SportsCenter at night, also streaming live on the ESPN app. That's tonight, though, after the game, which is Dolphins, Ravens. And before we pick it, Adam Schefter with some late news and notes.
Well, this is interesting. If you go back to Adam Gase when he took over as the Dolphins head coach last year, he lost his first 2 games at Seattle, at New England, through close games. Since then, the Dolphins have won 12 straight games decided by 7 points or fewer. So since losing last year to open the year, no team has done better in close games than the Miami Dolphins, who are 12-0 in their last 12 games decided by 7 points or less.
Wow, nice.
That's a good stat.
Big time turnaround.
Sounds
All
like
right.
the Giants last year.
Last year,
Yeah,
a big
not so
distinction.
much this year.
Not so much this year. Where's our quarterback? Steve Young, you with us?
Come on,
Ready to pick
lefty.
it?
I'm here.
All right,
Hey,
it's all yours.
as we all seek excellence, and then the gravitational pull of the quagmire of NFL parody drags us back, this game is one you say to yourself, ugh, please, let's get some excellence. I don't see it. I see just a big quagmire mediocrity, and I see a 17-16 rally finish where everyone says, wow, that's competitive. How was the football? Not so good.
He doesn't see excellence. No, but he makes a fair point.
In other words, he doesn't like a defensive game. This is going to be a defensive game.
All right.
16-12.
Ravens. All right.
The kicker will be the hero tonight. The kicker.
Teddy Bruschi.
I just don't. I mean, I don't know how the Ravens are going to put points on the board. You got injuries to multiple receivers. Joe Flacco. I don't know which Flacco's going to show up. Jarvis Landry. Watch him. He's going to have a big game, and the Dolphins will win.
Is the guy, is the guy with the shoelaces throwing him the ball?
Yeah, they'll be tied.
I got the, don't laugh, because I
Wow, double
why not
Dolphins.
score
Who you got?
points? Well, I got the Dolphins, but
Why?